Welcome back, everyone, to another Company of Heroes 2 regular cast. And this time it is going to be a 2v2 sent in by Glorious Cavassius, who is AFK, and he's playing the Brits, of course, because he's a dick, and he's gonna spam SimCity, most likely. His friend is gonna be Vini Depo. Vini Depo is from Russia, and he is playing as the Soviet Onion. Yes. And the enemies are gonna be Silmaz 40 Turkey, OKW, and VT as the Wehrmacht. So, okay, good. And the map is Elst Outskirts, right? Is that what it's called? Yes, it's called Elst Outskirts. And, I mean, it's the map with the building here, and the building here, and, you know, where there's like a lot of negative cover everywhere. So yeah, that's and there's the center with trees. That's, I think, how everyone remembers it. Oh, well done. So Kvas actually manages to get his infantry sections into the building way before the Sturm Pioneers can get in there and be in a good position. However, you know, if the Sturm Pioneers just moved slightly to the right over here, maybe they'd still get hit by the people in the right side window, maybe. But yeah, they get massacred, mowed down by Lee Enfields, and predictably they have to run away. So that actually kind of draws... Oh god, FVT is actually spamming MGs. Okay, so he's trying to just spam MGs everywhere, and looks like he's going to succeed in getting his Pioneers there. The conscripts decide to get out, probably wisely, because at close range Pioneers actually do damage, so considering they were in the building, they might have won that fight, but now they're just holding up for the machine gun, which was predictably what was going to happen. Still though, one of the machine guns had to go south because of the success of the Cavassius down south, so yeah, I mean, it looks like he's going to have to kind of spread out his machine guns, and machine guns, when they're spread out, they don't do particularly so well, so we'll see if the Allies can capitalize on this. Yeah, so the first machine gun's going to get spotted, and looks like a couple of infantry sections handing out in the building. I mean, they're going to try to fight the MG42 crew, but like, eventually they're going to win, but they're going to take heavy damage. That's what is going to happen. Also, there's a bit of a flanking maneuver coming in from Silmaz. He's able to get behind the machine gun over here to Vickers, and yeah, Vickers needs to run away, like really quickly. Yeah, it looks like he tried for a second to at least get out and set up again so that he could fire upon these guys, but it didn't work out at all. And yeah, the machine gun over here is eventually losing, but it's taking a while. And now the Allied troops kind of need to come down and deal with this Volksgrenadier infestation, because otherwise they're going to lose their south. And they, of course, do not want that. No. Now they're able to set up a machine gun, MG42, getting some nice suppressive fire. Also the infantry trying to get behind the trees, get flame grenaded, so yeah. Allied counterattack fails and is thrown back into the base. So Kvas is actually, you know, he's already got tier 1, so we'll see if he tries to go for anything out of there. And Vini has decided to pick the Soviet Shock Army, which means Papa Shock conscripts, it means 120mm mortars, and it means shock troops. So this is going to be very scary for the Nazis to deal with in the early to mid-game. And he hasn't decided to build any buildings so far, so that means he's going to be relying only on his column units and his conscripts. And that could be a particularly daring strategy. He's also going to go for some fuel near the base to keep up with the enemy in terms of the fuel income. In fact, that surpasses the German fuel income. And trying to get to the late game a little bit quicker. VT has gone for Battle Phase 2. Sorry, not Battle Phase 2, Battle Phase 1 and Tier 2. And he's trying to get out some Panzer Grenadiers. So he went from just spam machine guns into Panzer Grenadiers. A lot of people trying to skip early techs. Kvas is, he's got a forward assembly, so he's going to try to get essentially his forward retreat in a way set up. So yeah, that could be pretty good. Could provide him with extra map control on the south side of the map. And I feel like that's what he's going for. He's also going for an AT gun, which is smart, but his opponents don't really seem to be trying to get out armor, at least not yet. We do have a half-track coming in, though, and this could be turned into a flame half-track, so yeah, the AT gun will definitely be helpful against that. Vini does not have anti-tank grenades, so that is potentially very dangerous for him.
Weapon crew lost.
Weapon crew lost. Well done. Sturm Pioneers flanking around, and oh, the infantry sections decide to meet them by charging at them, you know, rifles blazing, but the problem is these guys can shoot a hell of a lot faster than these other guys. I mean, they're gonna win in the end, but taking a lot more damage than was necessary, and now they're gonna need to, you know, go back to like 20 meters to get reinforced before they can recrew the machine gun, and he's gonna have to leave one squad so that this Volksgrenadier does not steal it. I would steal it, to be honest, because, you know, a Volksgrenadier, you can just rebuild it, but a machine gun, you know, a machine gun is useful. And he's unfortunately not going to steal it, which is a big mistake. So yeah, here comes the half-track. He's, of course, building the flame projectors, but he decides to reveal himself very quickly by, you know, coming in with the MG42 blazing on these conscripts, which, you know, does a little bit of damage, but honestly, it might be providing Vini with, yeah, forewarning of things to come, and he is immediately issuing the anti-tank grenades. Smart of him, and I hope that Vini is now telling Kvas, hey, there's a half-track. Yes, flame projectors, as expected, so now the allies are going to need to be a lot more careful when they garrison buildings, a lot more careful when they're going to be standing around their forward assembly and such, so yeah. Well, Kvas, what are you doing? You're going for company command post pretty quickly, and if the allies can gain control of the south side again, they're going to have a very monstrous fuel income with which to work. And they're using the machine gun here, the Vickers, to try to accomplish this, plus some flanking maneuver from the infantry section. Here comes the coordinated artillery smoke, so that is going to probably tell this machine gun to get the hell out. And here we go. Looks like the anti-tank grenades are having their effect, but one of the conscripts is actually already wiped out. The Papashot conscript itself, actually. And now Vini has no munitions for another anti-tank grenade, and of course there's also 17 seconds left on this anti-tank grenade. So the conscripts are trying to destroy the half-track, which is definitely helping by standing and you know, showing its rear armor, but the conscripts will be wiped out by the Panzergrenadiers as they retreat through negative cover. So yeah, pretty bad engagement there for Vini. He has lost both of his, you know, veteran conscripts. He's still got one conscript, but it's not, you know, going to be all that useful just by itself. He is, however, going for a T-70. And in the meantime, we have that the Brits are pushing down south very aggressively and very successfully, despite some of their problems. Oh, like, for example, they almost lost a infantry section there. Despite some of their problems, they're doing quite well. Here comes a grenade assault, though. So that is, of course, the special operations doctrine being picked by Silmaz. It's going to mean a Command Panther. Command Panther, which, oh yeah, it could happen because he's going for mechanized after battle group. So just trying to get all the techs and all the tiers. I was gonna say he might want to go for a Stuka, but he's going for a flak half-track. Weird choice, to be honest, considering that his opponent, like, clearly would be ready for it after 10 minutes. And soon enough, Kvas is actually going to have enough fuel for either a Cromwell or a Centaur. I feel like the Centaur will, of course, be very useful, but Kvas might want to go for the Cromwell just to have something that's a little bit more versatile. But we'll see. Like, if he sees the flak half-track, he's definitely going to go for the Centaur, because, you know, he would not need the Cromwell for a while. Da comrade. So here comes T-70. T-70, however, might not have the best of times because there's Panzergrenadiere with Panzerschrecks, and these are quite dangerous. They're probably going to kill the T-70, but they don't get the finishing blow. No, they don't. Barely. Kind of lucky on that T-70. In the meantime, Panzergrenadier is actually getting completely smashed by Flammenwerfer. Well done.
have casualties.
So yeah, both sides up north taking some pretty massive casualties. We have that VT has gone for 2 mortar half-tracks, which is a terrible decision because he's facing, look at this, he's facing a 120mm mortar, 2 engineers, a conscript, a T-70, and an AT gun. He doesn't even know that the AT gun is there, by the way. And he's got a flame projector half-track. He's got a couple of machine guns and a Panzerschreck squad. So what he needs is infantry. What his opponent needs is infantry. They do not need support weapons, and the mortar half-track is good against support weapons and emplacements. So what he should have gone for is he should have gone for a support armor core and tried to get out later on a Panzer IV so that he can later go for the Tiger. In the meantime, he should have gone out some bloody grenadiers, because Grenadiers are good, except he does not have infantry company, right? So perhaps Panzer Grenadiers? Yeah, I guess Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers are pretty bad on this map because this map is very open. So yeah, the choice of going from tier 1 to tier, or sorry, from tier 0 to tier 2, perhaps not the most reasoned one. Anyway, Kavas in the south is starting to have some problems with the STKFZ flak half-track, but yep, this is exactly what was, you know, I guess intended. So the 6-pounder can just be used in conjunction with the infantry to prevent this this guy from doing too much. And wow, I didn't even know there was a river here. No one goes here normally. And well, massive horde of Volksgrenadiere. This is bad because the AT gun, yeah, it's got negative cover, and there's no Brits in here to help. So likely to lose the squad crew. He might. Well, he might just be in time to at least prevent them from stealing or salvaging the crew. Here comes some Granaten. And, well, this is going to be dangerous for these 2 squads, but here comes Centaur. Yes, Centaur does not give a damn about all these guys. Of course, he might give a damn about these Raketenwaffes, but they're not here, so that's pretty good for him. He's able to just absolutely massacre all of these Volksgrenadiers. That's exactly why the Centaur is so great, managing to get a nasty and deadly burst on these guys in the negative cover. So yeah, lots of damage, lots of carnage. In the meantime, T-70 up north is also doing some carnage of his own. And where the hell are the Panzer Grenadiers? They're coming in and they're trying to get some shots off, but T-70 is going to be screened off by these glorious flame engineers. So right now, the sort of anti-infantry... Ooh, looks like he pushed in a little bit too far and got Raketenwerfer. But yeah, the anti-infantry armor for the Allies is starting to have some good effect, so where the hell are the packs? I mean, VT should honestly start to get out a pack. And Silmaz does have his Raketenwerfers, but he needs to be a little bit more aggressive with them, I feel like. Because Raketenwerfers, as opposed to other AT guns, can retreat and they can stealth, so... They're actually relatively versatile with what they can do, as opposed to a normal AT gun. And of course, Silma's TR has gone for a 3rd supply half-track, so I can't remember, did they change it so that if you have the command panther, you cannot have the KT? I think it is this way, but yeah, it almost looks like he's going for the KT. Anyway, yet another Volksgrenadier horde comes in. You know, the Volksgrenadier horde is replenished, and it's able to take out the AT gun yet again, but oh no, more Granaten, you know, kind of just landing on empty ground. But now, oh, they're so close to the 6-pounder. Can they take it? Okay, however, the Centaur is back up, and he's trying to salvage it, you know, desperately, but oh god. Yep, with both Centaur and normal rifles firing on this, you know, on the squad that was salvaging the AT gun. Of course, it was doing a lot of damage. Now, however, the AT gun is turned on the Allied Masters, and you know, it's probably going to do a lot of damage to the Centaur. It uses the 20mm strafing fire to prevent its destruction. Actually, well done. This, however, allows these German infantry units to escape pretty much unscathed, and it does yet more damage to Centaur, which gains in veterancy, but it is going to be, yet again, back in the repair yards, so this is going to be more difficult. Bloody physics. It's going to be more difficult for him to, again, you know, get it back on the field, get it back firing on these Nazis. On the Jerrys, as it may. So, what the hell is VT doing? He finally has a support armor core, and he's going for a Stug! No! Why? I hate people who go for Stugs! Just, why are you going for a Stug? Your enemy has a T-70 and might be going for like a T-34-76. Yeah, look, he's building tier 4. It's like, oh no, what is he gonna do with a T-34-76 or an Su-85, you know? Or rather, what are you gonna do with a Stug against those things? Who knows? Anyway, so Centaur is trying to move in, and he is incredibly lucky that this STKFZ... No. What? Well, apparently, these guys were not in the smoke. See, I was like, he's very lucky that this half-track popped that smoke, because, you know, now he's gonna be saved. But as it turns out, it wasn't. And this is what I was talking about with the right-handed riffers being very versatile, very useful, because you just don't expect them. You can push them up a little bit further than you could normal AT guns, so you can be more bold with them. You can be more creative with how they use. And yeah, works out in the end. At least for the Germans, not for the Allies. Anyway, Kvass's rage right now is going to be expressed in some infantry moves, and oh boy. That was just a lot of grenades from everyone, and, you know, kind of inconclusive fight yet again. Like, at this point in the south, it's just kind of like both infantry blobs just kind of headbutting each other, and then running back to base to get some medication. To the forward base, of course, although, wait, what? What do you mean? Oh, right. I'm retarded. Anyway, oh, hello. So T-70 actually destroyed the flame half-track, so that's well done. And the Stug tried to come in to help, but he was useless. Who could have thunk it? Anyway, the north is completely in the hands of Vini, who's controlling it with his meager infantry. Despite the fact that he's floating 1,100 manpower, he is still, you know, doing quite well. And oh boy, well done. Sorry. Bastards. You bastard. Yeah, whatever. But what was that sound? A Piat, right? Yeah, Piat, okay. Then, yeah, there was no Piat fired. I guess he just, like, it's the sound fired, but the animation did not, because he canceled it, I think. I don't know, whatever. So right now, yeah, again, like these two guys in the south, they're trying desperately to sort of push each other out, but it's not really working for either side, although it's working a little bit better for Slimaz 40 than for Kvass. Of course, Kvass has the advantage that he seems to be more conscious of what he's doing with his teching. He's got the hammer tactics, and now he's probably going to go for a Comet, which would be a very, very useful tool in dealing with these Germans, because the Germans are still lacking in armor. They're still going for a very, very late-game centered strategy, if there is a strategy at all. So this could be pretty dangerous, and oh god, he has to run away. Oh wow, absolutely wipe out a, yes, that was, what was that? Volksgrenadiers? Looks like it. Anyway, yeah, T-70 doing quite well. Where the hell is the Stug? He's back at base. Guess he moved into the anti-tank gun's field of view. And, looks like Vini is building a howitzer, and this is kind of the problem with what the Germans are doing. If the Allies start to build a lot of artillery, they can really take out his battle quarters and his Schwer Panzer headquarters, so this could be pretty bad. Panther command tanks are available now, but he doesn't have enough resources, of course. And T-70 comes in. Where are the Raketenwerfers? They're back at base reinforcing, and finally the T-70 is able to score a nice kill on the OKW guys as well. Oh boy. That's a Faust. You know, does some damage. But is it going to be enough? I mean, the Raketenwerfers are pretty far away. Yeah, he's going to escape. He is going to get out of there. I just saw a random fucking thing flying past me. Okay, so yeah, I guess it does work out. Does work out for the Allies, but again, they need to be providing more pressure in the south. And then once they have the artillery, they're going to be in a great position. So what are the Germans going to do to respond to this? I do not know, because VT is being a retard. And Slimaz TR, he's going for a P4 at 21 minutes. That is just... when you finally have unlocked the Panther command tank, when you finally have free trucks, so you could go for the KT or Command Panther. You're in the late game. You can do that. You decide to bring out a P4 when your ally is Wehrmacht and has tier 3. I don't know. I think that this is a bad move. Especially because the Brits right now are going for the Comet, and Vini over here is going for a second howitzer, and he's got an Su-85 on the field, so he's really definitely into the late game. Where is the howitzer firing though? Looks like he's firing like kind of close to the front line, which is never the best idea for these howitzers because they're inaccurate as hell. So, oh well. Do the Germans have any way to counter this? Well, VT has the reconnaissance overflight into fragmentation bombing combo. So this could be easily spotted and fragmentation bombed from one end to the other, actually. Because I think they're like kind of close enough where the fragmentation bombing would at least clip both of them. It would be a stretch, but it would at least be clipped. Or you could just, you know, focus on one of them at the same time. And then the Germans could try to go for artillery of their own in the form of Panzerwerfers or Stukas. But, you know, that's a little bit late for that, at least for Slimaz, TR. Maybe for VT if he goes for tier 4. But he is not going for tier 4, at least not yet. And that's a damn shame, because he's not going to do that much with Stuks. Although I guess he might be waiting for the Tiger, which would not be the worst idea ever. Oh, Flammenwerfer 35 on Panzergrenadiers. Oh, no. Yeah, well, rip. Yeah, look. Look, SU. Look, Stug. It's like you, but useful. It's an Su-85. Yes, destroying the mortar, and now destroying the Stug, along with the help of the Zis-free field gun. And yeah, okay, so the Panzer IV is also on the field, but looks like it met the Comet and was able to escape, but not much more. And now the Comet is in kind of trouble because he ate a Panzerfaust. What's been really just giving the edge of to the Germans in the south has been their superiority in infantry and their emplacements. So again, what the Allies need to do is they need to make use of their artillery to destroy the Schwer Panzer. But they're still firing on the front lines, which is like, what are these howitzers gonna do firing on mobile targets? Probably not much. In fact, they're still at 0 kills. Although finally VT's incompetence is starting to catch up on the Germans, and oh, we finally have some howitzer fire on, you know, the Schwer Panzer quarters. So this means that eventually the Schwer Panzer quarters will just go down, because there's no way it is going to survive 2 howitzers concentrating their 152mm shells on it. And ooh, a Canonwerfer wiped out in the negative cover. That is potentially pretty dangerous. And finally, the Brenns from the infantry sections and their veterancy free and their 5-men squads are starting to really come into play and do some damage to the Nazis, and starting to kind of turn back the infantry game back into the hands of the Allies. At this point, you should probably take the Canonwerfer too. And here comes the Comet tank. Can fire on the Schwer. What is he exactly doing? I do not know. Here comes the P4. Panzerfaust will be fired, but will it be? Nope, it will not be a damaging shot. But this guy, oh no, he does not have enough munitions for a second Panzerfaust. Still though, the Comet is kind of in a bit of a pickle because of the Panzer IV. Panzer IV which almost dies, but especially because of the Raketenwerfer. Come on, take this Raketenwerfer. You need it. Well, maybe you do not need it, but your opponents definitely do need it, so at least to deny it. And yeah, as you can see, we have massive artillery fire coming in on the Schwer Panzer headquarters. Not just, I believe, from... Yeah, not just from the Brits, or sorry, from the Brits, not just from the Soviets, but also from the Brits, who have, you know, thrown down some artillery flares onto it. Nade! Oh, well. Oh, looks like the T-70 died. That's actually kind of a big loss, because that T-70 was vet-free, so it was actually pretty useful. Especially considering the fact that VT is kind of a derp. He's still got his Stug, and now he's definitely going for the Tiger. But, I mean, the Soviets are kind of ready for this. So we'll see. We'll see. Here comes another T-70, and T-70 is going to be pretty useful against these Panzergrens. So, Schwerpanzer quarters is dead. That is a nice sure way for the Allies to now come and flood down into the south side of the map. Oh boy. You have to run away now, do you?
Where do you want this comet?
Second comet coming on the field. Yeah, right now Kvas is just gonna mass produce these things out so damn, like, effectively. Honestly, what he could do as well is build a mortar pit somewhere like over here, because he's got a bit of a float in terms of manpower. Or he could go for a forward logistics glider and get himself a whatchamacallit, glider, landing officer, whatever, air landing officer. But honestly, he wouldn't need the extra that he's spending on the logistics glider. Although the logistics glider does give them the ability to produce commandos at a very cheap price. So if he wanted to, he could get some very nasty infantry on the field. He does not need this, however, because he's already got very good infantry sections with Brenz. So to be honest, for him, the best use of his manpower, in my opinion, again... Ooh, that was very unfortunate. In my opinion, the best usage for the manpower would be, oh, hello Tiger, would be mortar pits, because it would be very helpful. Would be very helpful down south, because it would just cover this whole area with mortar fire. And just so you know, like, you know, the mortar pit would have like this radius kind of, so you could cap this VP and then have the mortar pit like really smash up any Germans that were trying to recap it. And then the mortar pit would also kind of act as a conduit for Germans to come in there. So you could have your AT guns protecting the mortar pit, and they would deal with the LAIG. So the anti-tank guns would be a little bit more safe up where the fighting is, and they would be able to protect the mortar pit, and the mortar pit would attract the German armor to you know, the AT guns. I feel like that would be a pretty good combination for him.
Lost an MG team.
Oh, we do have reconnaissance overflight. Will it finally be the fragmentation bombing that we were waiting for? Yes, it will be fragmentation bombing, and I'm guessing it will be on the AT. What? What? You giant, blustering, demonic idiot. What? What the actual shit? You giant, inbred Stuka pilot. Why did you drop it on the machine gun? Oh my god. You absolute imbecile. Okay, so see, for, like... See, I said he wasn't going for the howitzers. You know, easy target. So I think, oh, he's going for the tanks down here and the AT gun. Yeah, that is useful, but it could have its, like, damage. But why? Why? Whatever. Let's just not even think about this. I mean, honestly, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. It's just like, oh my god. One day they're gonna discover where this battle group headquarters is, and the day they do that, the day that battle group headquarters becomes a very, very sad place. Anyway, now with a lot of infantry, the Comets are gonna have they're gonna have a great day, because that's the thing about Comets. They're good against everything, and they just absolutely tear apart infantry. So. Oh, should probably get this Comet out of the line of sight of these three Raketenwerfers. Yeah, well, top 10 anime deaths. So the roller coaster of retard is kind of continuing down south, but hey, they'll do Sturmovik attacks. What are they gonna do? Because there's no infantry here. But I guess the S-85 is trying to destroy the Stug. Doesn't work because the Stug has Panzer Tactician, but the Tiger can't really help.
Ready for action. Send orders.
Hello, my name is Panzer IV. I should not be alive right now, and ooh, looks like Kvass did go for the glider in the end. I mean, the glider is useful as a forward reinforcement point. You can get medics out of it. You've got the air landing officer, and you can get the commandos for 350 manpower. Yes, that is the true cost of the commandos, not the 500 whatever you pay for them in the commando doctrine. And that's why Vanguard Operations is pretty damn good, because you pay 500, yes, for the glider at one point, but one, you get a air landing officer, which is a pretty useful squad. It's got the officer charge, it's got light cannon bombs, and it can get pretty damn nasty because they drop the smoke grenade when they retreat, so they are basically invincible if you're effective with them. And when they have the Brens, they've got the commando Brens. So if you don't know, like these guys, the commandos, when they have a Bren, and this guy is the commando models, like he's got the commando models except for the officer himself, so he's actually a commando squad. But when the commandos pick up Brens, they can fire on the move, and they're ridiculously effective. So yeah, normally infantry would have to stand still to fire the Bren, but these guys, they can fire the Bren on the move, and they're absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, you can get out some pretty nasty shock troops because you can just produce commandos for 350 manpower, and commandos are actually as cheap to reinforce as infantry sections. So you can slowly but surely kind of replace your infantry sections with commandos, and oh boy. I mean, honestly, this Comet should be very careful about these racks that are being literal cancers, and they're making sure it's impossible for him to really use his Comet. So perhaps should be thinking about the Vanguard Crocodile at this point, because this thing would be very, very effective against what Silmas TR is doing. And yeah, hello, now the KT is on the field, but it's like, what's KT gonna do? I don't know. Looks like well, wow, that was a lot of assault grenades. Now he can just recruit them. He can recruit the thing with air landing officer guys, and that would have been a very nasty gun crew indeed. Lots of planes coming in from the Allies, pumping machine gun and rockets into the Germans. The advancing Germans, however, are starting to get some progress done with their heavies, and now it is going to be up to the Allies to come up with a solution to this. So they had the ball in their court, but they kind of dropped it by derping around over Raketenwerfers and over Stugs. Now they need to deal with the heavies, though, and well, with the heavies, we'll see. But like the Königstiger over here, supported by lots of Raketenwerfers and the Panzer IV, could be a very formidable obstacle. But we'll see. No, Tiga coming around and really making it difficult for these guys.
We are suffering losses.
Looks like he's gonna eat an anti-tank grenade, and oh, is this the end of the Tiger? No, because the what? I mean, the Allies are gonna win because of VPs, because 75 points maybe, But right now, this stupidity needs to be immortalized. Like, this is just a roller coaster of retard. Like, so everything went bad for the allies right here. So the Tiger over here was just kind of coming in. They managed to get the anti-tank grenade on him, got on the conscripts, but the Su-85 decided to be a derp, and instead of just stay at range, try to get some pot shots on the Tiger, because, you know, he was very low on HP, he decides to not only not look at the Tiger, expose its sort of side armor, which doesn't exist in Co, but expose its side to it, and he also decided to cut, you know, the road that the Comet tank was going to use to chase down the Tiger. Now, the Comet tank is incredibly faster than the Tiger, especially when the Tiger is a damaged engine. So he's gonna kill him eventually. But you know, it was kind of funny anyway. Looks like Kvass is actually going for more Comets, because I guess he's more afraid of the Tigers than he is of the Rakenwerfers. Which, to be fair, I guess it's kind of fine, considering he should be beating this infantry blob hands down, but he's not doing that, which is just incredibly surprising. Kind of surprising as it is. So yeah, right now VT is gonna buy a second Tiger, predictable as hell, and oh boy, the KT, it's dead. They pushed up way too far without the support of the... Where the hell are the Rakenwerfers? Oh, they're back at base. Yeah, well, Comet number 2 is fresh and is able to just get behind the Tiger. Where are you going, man? He's able to get behind the Tiger. Yes, he's destroyed. There goes the Comet by the destruction of... I guess he just got Panzerfausted? I don't know. Whatever. And now the Comet can destroy the Stug, as he already did that, and Tiger is gonna make him run away, but he has destroyed everything already, so he's like, you know, Highlander over here getting back to base. So despite some successes for the Nazis, they're in a very, very bad position at this point. And I kind of feel like, again, with the VP game being so far in favor of the Allies, they're gonna be in a good spot. Yeah. So what did the Germans do so bloody wrong? Well, I mean, they were kind of, I guess, very confused about what to go for in their early to mid game. They just didn't know, like, what kind of Puma. They just didn't know what kind of strategy to pursue. They didn't know if they were going for the Command Panther. They didn't know if they were going for the Tier 4 or for the Tiger. They didn't know if they were going to get a lot of good infantry or try to go for more support weapons, focus play. And they especially, again, did not know what they were going to do in the late game. So you get to the late game, you have Silmaz just wasting a bunch of time on Panzer IVs. Wasting a bunch of time on Panzer IVs, and yeah, again, there goes that. Wasting a bunch of time on Panzer IV, and then going for the King Tiger, but then not using his very, very good, you know, very, very solid, I guess you could say. Not really that good, I mean, it was okay, but this very solid, like, infantry and Rakenwerfers that he has, not really using them to support the Königstiger. Almost treating these like they were different things altogether. Like, I guess he has like a hotkey with all of his infantry, and he just blobs that forward. He's got a hotkey with all the Rakenwerfers, and he just blobs that into a different direction. And then he's got a hotkey with his tanks, and he does other things with those. So yeah, not really getting any coordination or combined arms out of that. More Pumas! Oh, great. Well, half-track? That ain't a half-track. That's an Su-85. Man, these Rakenwerfers are the real heroes for the Germans. They're still there, just doing their thing. And why isn't the Comet popping a white phosphorus shell? I do not know, but decides to pop an L2 Sturmovik attacks. Okay, Panzer IV not having the best of times here. And the AT guns proving their worth yet again. Aw, missed the last shot. Hello? Run away. You're gonna get wiped. No friendly fire. I just love how they removed friendly fire from Company of Heroes too. That sure is a very, you know, deep usage of the game mechanics.
The jury's down to their last 25 points.
Anyway, instead of buying Pumas, he probably should have waited and gotten out a second KT. VT should have not gone for the Stug, he should have gone for the P4. And I guess the Tigers, I mean, they're fine. At one point he pushed in with the Tiger alone. I mean, I don't even need to say that. Pushing in here with the Tiger by itself is kind of a mistake. Because, you know, that's not how tanks work.
We are losing Soldaten.
And that's that.
We are losing.
Ooh.
We have 10 points.
Yeah, 10 points remaining. I mean, they're gonna neutralize the North VP, but I mean, what are they gonna do? There's a Churchill Crocodile. There is a Comet on field. Yeah, center reclaimed, and now they can just move north and take care of everything up here as well. And because Silmas TR decided to kind of drop the ball and buy Pumas, they don't really have enough to really put up enough pressure onto the middle or the south. Although the German infantry, just by virtue of, I don't know, persistence, has been doing very, very well. So, you know, good on them. Aw. He tried to use raid operation to cap, but the Panzer Grenadiers getting there at just the last possible moment, preventing the cap from happening. Still, though, in the center we have the shock troops capping there, and they can use smoke grenades, so that's fine for them. And now here comes this guy, and so he, you know, pushes back the Panzer Grenadiers, destroys them with the 17-pounder shot, and can just cap them. So that's the GG. Already gone through at length of what I think about these, you know, massive donkeys should have done. But, you know, with all, like, jokes aside, it was a pretty good game. Enjoyed it. And, yeah. Well done to Vini, by the way, because he played pretty damn well, despite the fact that he sometimes just kind of derped. Like, like when he kind of decided to not buy shock troops, and when he, at one point, decided to just throw his Su-85s into the fray for no real reasons. But overall, he played pretty well. And yeah, persistence won out in the end. So yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. That's not how you use a rifle.